Good morning and happy Monday, boys and girls. Here is a brief little short mini lesson from yours truly on the combined lessons 37 and 38 for Eureka 4th grade module 5. It's fractions. We are almost at the end of this module. We're starting decimals next week. We're going to have a quiz on Friday, so this is an important week. So basically our I can statement is I can find the product of a whole number and a mixed number using the distributive property. So I'm going to review some of the vocabulary with you right now. We have the word product. Well, if you remember the song that I sing that I got from one of my previous year's co-teachers, who's amazing, the song goes, the factor times the factor equals product. Remember? So let's look at it together. Look, the factor times the factor equals product. So what does that mean? Well, 5 and 2 are factors. Those are the numbers that you multiply together. And when you get 10 as your answer, that's simply called your product. So the answer when you multiply is called a product. Just like the answer when you add is called the sum. And the answer when you subtract is called the difference. All right? They all have names, right? The answer when you divide is called your quotient. Right? Okay. So, and then the other word that I think is very important for this lesson is the distributive property. I'm going to bounce ahead to slide 4 and just kind of review it with you guys. We call it the distributive property. It can also be called the distributive law, the distributive rule. And basically what this property says is that multiplying a number is the same as multiplying its addends by the number, then adding the products. Okay, simply put into 4th grade terms, remember when we focused on this for multiplication, it was a pretty big thing that we focused on for a lot of the lessons, especially when the numbers got harder. So I'm going to show you how this example is using 6 times 9, solving for that equation by breaking down the 9 into 4 and 5, okay? Decomposing, breaking down, we've been doing that forever. So when you decompose or break down a larger number, then you are distributing the other factor to both of those addends that were broken down. I'm going to show you exactly like what we were doing in the classroom. Let's look at something like 6 times 29. Remember in the very, very beginning, before we taught you all the strategies to actually multiply 6 times 29, remember we were breaking this up into the tens place and the ones place, and then to make it easier for us, right? The whole point of the distributive property is to make it easier for us. So let's break up 29. I feel like it's really easy when you break up numbers by tens and ones because you literally just need to listen to the way it's said. This is the number 29. So I have 2 tens for 20 and 9 ones for 9. That's breaking it up into or decomposing it into tens and ones. So now what the distributive property says is that I need to distribute the 6 to 20. And then I need to distribute it again to 9. Remember the word distribute, boys and girls. If I ask my teacher's assistants to distribute the June calendar, what does that mean? Distribute means pass it out. I'm passing out the 6 to the 20 and also to the 9. So it would be rewritten like this. 6 times 20, right? And then plus 6 times 9 is going to get you the same answer as 6 times 29. Remember, 6 times 2 is 12, and then we increase it by 1 place value, so we add the 0 on. And then here, 6 times 9. Well, if we don't know 6 times 9, we can think about what 5 times 9 is, right? And then add another group onto that. Add another group of 9 onto that, right? 5 times 9 is 45. Plus 9 more is 54, right? And then, we don't really add vertically. Horizontally, we add vertically. So I would always go off to the side, and I'm sure you remember this in class, and I would add these together. 0 plus 4 is 4, 2 plus 5 is 7, and 1 plus nothing is 1. So my answer would be 174. That is an example of using the distributive property. with whole numbers. Now, boys and girls, we are at the end of 4th grade. Now we are using the distributive property to multiply a whole number and a mixed number, okay? So here we go. Here's an example. A whole number, right, 5, and a mixed number, which is a fraction and a whole number together. Kind of like, 3.5. Don't let seeing a mixed number kind of like trip you up. It's the same exact skill. It's the same exact skill as what I showed you just a minute ago using 6 times 29. We are going to distribute the 5 to the 20. So we have 5 times 20, right? You know what? I'm going to actually move this other example down here because I don't want it to get into the way. Okay, so here we go. We're distributing the 5 to 20, and then we're going to distribute the 5 to the 8/10. So 5 times 20 plus 5 times 8/10. And that is going to get us our product, our answer. So let's think of it this way. What is 5 times 20? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Okay, it's 100 plus 5 times 8/10. Remember, don't forget what you've learned prior, okay? 5 times 8/10 is the same as saying 5 over 1 times 8/10. Now, if you don't have to put this one here, I put this one here because I don't want students to multiply 5 times 10. You never multiply the denominator by the whole number. You're only multiplying it by the numerator. This is like saying I have 8/10 plus 8/10 plus 8/10 plus 8/10 plus 8/10 5 times. I'm still going to have tenths as my denominator. Your denominator stays the same. So we do 5 times 8, which is 40. And my denominator stays the same. So it's 48ths. Okay? So now, oh boy, we can technically, technically, this is not wrong. However, we need to think, this is an improper fraction, a fraction more than 1. So we need to do something, right? To make this, a mixed number. So think about it this way. If I have 48ths, right? I can draw this out. We've been practicing this. I can draw this out. I'm just going to start with 4. No, I'm going to start with 5. I'm going to break up all my wholes into 8. Why? Because my denominator is 8. So I'm going to do half and then fourths and then cut that in half to get me 8. Half and then cut the halves in halves and then cut everything in half. See how that's 8 pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I have half. Cut my halves in halves to create fourths and then cut my fourths in half. So this is 8/8, right? We need to count up to 48ths. So basically we're skip counting by 8s until we get to 40. 8/8 plus another 8/8 is 16/8 plus another 8/8 is 8, 16, 24 plus another, right? So 8, 16, 24, 32. We need to get up to 40. 32, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Wait, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Woohoo! So we are saying, boys and girls, that 48ths is the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to take away the 48ths and say that it's 5. So your answer here is 105. Okay, now let's look at the other example that I had. It was 25 and 4/100ths times 4. 25 and 4/100ths times 4. Now, this example is a little bit different, I notice, because I see that the mixed number is first. It doesn't matter. Remember, because of the commutative property of multiplication, right? When it doesn't matter what order the numbers are, you're still going to get the same product or answer, right? If I have 3 times 2 is 6, well, 2 times 3 is also 6, right? That's the commutative property. It doesn't matter which order the numbers go in. So if you want to rewrite this as being 4 times 25 and 4/100ths, go for it. Go for it. Let's do that, because I feel like this is, visually a little easier. I'm just showing you, though, this is how the example was in the problem set for lesson 38, which I'm doing right now. So now I'm going to be distributing, passing out the whole number. I'm going to distribute it to the 25, 4 times 25. And then I'm going to also distribute it to the fraction, 4 times 4/100, or 4/100ths. Okay, now I'm going to solve for my 2 multiplication problems. I'm going to get them and add them together to get my final product. 4 times 25, well, that's the same as 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25. It's like 4 quarters, right? 4 quarters is $1. $1 is worth 100 cents. So I know that 4 times 25 is 100. And now I'm doing 4 times 4, which is 16. And my denominator stays the same. So it's 100. It is not, boys and girls, 400. Not. It is not. I repeat, it is not 400. This is the same as saying 4/100ths plus 4/100ths plus 4/100ths plus 4/100ths. Well, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 16, but I still have my whole is cut into hundredths. So now I just need to do 100 plus 1600ths, and all that is just 100 and 1600ths, because I'm just combining the 2. I hope that helped, boys and girls. Please let us know if you have any more questions. Love ya.